Contrary to popular belief, real estate is not the easiest business to break into, and that's especially true right now while we've had the lowest number of sales probably any time in the last decade. You have to learn how to talk to prospects, learn how to qualify them, figure out who's serious about buying or selling a house, and then ultimately get them to agree to working with you as their representative. For most people, in fact, for 90% of new agents, that means they're not going to succeed in their first year. Today, I want to introduce you to Robbie Hurd. He's the newest agent on the Block Group, and we are celebrating his first closing, first of many, I assume.
Yeah.
And I really just want to have a conversation with him about what his experience was in that transaction and what it means to break into the real estate business. So tune in for that this time on Real Value with the Block Group. So, Robbie, congratulations, first of all. First sale in the books.
Yep.
Tell me, what was the experience? What are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling accomplished. I'm feeling like I was able to bring value first to the clients that were getting the property, the duplex, and patience in the deal too.
Yeah,
for sure.
So walk me through that. You say you learned patience in the deal. What does that mean?
Well, I'm coming into the industry new, into real estate. There's contracts. There are time frames that you have to meet. There are, legal facts that you have to make sure are in line before you go on to the next step. So in that, I had to find a lot of patience working with the client, working with the listing agent, the seller, which in return had to work with the title company. So just having patience going through each step will allow you not to be really overwhelmed with the process.
So really what you're saying is there's a lot of moving parts.
A lot of moving parts, yeah.
And what was your experience with trying to break into the business? So obviously this is your first sale.
Yep.
And how have you found it trying to find qualified, motivated clients that are actually ready, willing, and able to buy?
Yeah, you have to go in with purpose. If you're just looking to make a sale, make a deal happen, it seems a lot harder. That's kind of how I did at the beginning. I just seemed like I was so focused on just finding a client so I can make a deal happen. And I wasn't bringing value to the table. So I wasn't able to discover the client's needs, the people that I was talking to. So I finally got to the point where I was able, like I said, have some patience, stay in the game, stay focused, and you'll find yourself working with those clients that you're meant to work with over time.
That's right. So what I heard you say that I think is really impactful, and this is true not just in the real estate business, but in any business, is lead with value.
Yes.
So what did you do with these clients specifically that led with value, where you were giving before you gained, so to speak?
Well, I didn't look at, I tried to stay away from what I've heard in real estate is having like the commission breath. Focusing on the commission, trying to just get them in a deal just so we can get a deal closed. These were investors, so they were looking for things that weren't maybe not turnkey ready to move into. So any deal could be a good fit in that sense. But I sat back and was like, I want to make sure that I'm finding the property that they want in the time that they need, which they had all the time because they were looking for the right property for them. So I was able to kind of slow down, take the eyes off of me, take the focus off of myself, and focus on their needs, focus on what they're looking to get into. Whether we had to go look at 10 properties or 2 properties, I put myself in the game for that long haul instead of the short run.
Gotcha. So let's kind of shift gears a little bit. Walk me through what the actual process of working through a transaction is. How many hours of work did you put in between prospecting, working with the clients to identify a property, writing contracts, negotiating, and then ultimately closing?
Yeah. Well, it took, in a whole, it took about a month. But when you talk about actual working hours, it was only 10 hours tops. that I was working with the clients. And we probably looked at 6 or 7 properties before we found ourselves at the right one.
Okay, so 6 or 7 properties. How long does it take to show a property? What's the process of doing that?
Yeah, so showing a property, the actual showing time for the clients to go see the property is about anywhere between 15 and 45 minutes. So each 6 properties, 45 minutes. And then what was the second part of that question?
That's a great question. I actually forgot what I asked. So I guess what is that process of working with clients to actually identify a property, negotiate, and successfully close?
Yeah, so first you have to sit down, talk with them, and see what kind of property they're looking for. Once you're able to see what property they're looking for, you go in and you find some properties to show them. You book them, you find a time that they can go out and see them. And then once they agree on a property, we go back and kind of do the back end work of seeing what we could offer on that property. And then we put in an offer.
Yeah. So one of the things that I think is a good thing to highlight for people who are maybe considering a career in real estate is, you got a closing, which is great. Can you live off one closing?
No, I don't think you could, unless it was like a $10 million deal that you were able to work out.
And how many of those do we have in Dayton?
I don't think there's many.
Not very many. So the truth is we do have deals that are in the $1 million+ range, and yet the vast majority of our deals fall into that $250,000 and under category, because our median price point here in the Dayton area is around $250,000.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas other parts of the country, maybe California or New York, Florida for sure, have higher property values. So when you're thinking about getting into the industry, think about what your local market is. Is this something where if you only do a couple deals a year, which is the average, according to the National Association of Realtors, that you could live on the income from those deals if you aren't successful? But then again, that's why 90% of agents wash out after their first year.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of walk me through that, because you've been licensed for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and yet this is your first closing. So what kept you in the business when maybe the economic factors wouldn't have driven you to stay in?
Yeah, well, what kept me in the business was the team. The block group. I met Tyler years ago. I wasn't looking to get into real estate, and then I found myself, 2 years later, which was 2 years ago, just wanting to find something new. I knew real estate was going to be something that I got into eventually. I just didn't know how. And when I stumbled across the thought, the block group came up to me, because he never asked me to get into real estate. He never tried to push me into doing that. So when I came to the time of wanting to, they were there available to accept me in. And because I started in February of 2022 and didn't make my first deal until now, May of 2023. And what kept me in is the environment. I felt welcomed. I felt like I was learning something. I felt like they were giving more than I was giving to them. And it made me want to stick around and see what they were doing. And as I stuck around and came out to the office, came to events that Tyler introduced me to, I just found that I wanted to be in that kind of helping environment, because the black group really leads with value, and they were able to teach me how to do that.
So kind of to wrap this whole thing up, what would your one piece of advice be to someone who's maybe considering going out on their own and being an entrepreneur, getting into the real estate business?
Have patience. I think that was my biggest take in this last year and a few months, is to have patience with yourself, because as we all know, real estate is a hot market. It's an always changing market, and there's many opportunities. So if you don't have patience, or if you don't give yourself patience to walk into those opportunities, you might find yourself letting go of the wheel and saying this isn't for you.
Awesome. Well, Robbie, I appreciate you sharing your insights with me today. If you are interested in maybe entering a career in real estate, if you're interested in maybe starting your own business and you're not sure what that looks like, let us know in the comments. And we would love to connect you with somebody who can help you walk through that process and make an informed decision. And again, if you like the content that you saw today, please give us a like. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can get notifications when we put out new videos. That way you can stay on top of all this wealth and finance information that we're giving out. I've been your host, Tyler Blott, and this is Real Value with Tyler Blott. We'll see you next time.